Hi guys, so today I'm coming to you with a sponsored video from Tonic Studios. It is for their new set here. It's the Eternal Moments My Memory Book set, and they did send these items free of charge for my review, and of course all opinions are my own. And any links down in the description box will be affiliate links, which means I will make a small commission if you purchase items to those links. Now, if you're familiar with Tonic, you're probably familiar with their memory books. Lots of different styles and cuts and designs that you can then mix and match if you would like. This is something they brought out here for Cyber Week, and I am telling you, this set is, I'm just can't wait to try it out because look at everything that's in here. So what I want to point out, their memory books, you can either use a spine, you don't have to use a spine, you can make it up as you go. So hopefully you can kind of see, like, these guys over here are what would be the pages. They don't cut on the very edge, but these are really cool in that they have that little divot right here on this guy and these guys, and basically that's where you're going to score if you want to score, or if you just want to cut that piece off and make it a matte layer for something else or for your book, however you want to do it. But that's very important, I think, in my opinion, and I really love that that's included here. Again, you can leave your paper as long as you would like if you want to use it for the binding, you know, for all these different things. Now, having said that, they also have these little guys here, and these also have marks that'll help you line them up. Let's say you're going to use this as a binding edge, and what you would do is fold over your paper so that you have, it's real nice and sturdy. So now when I place these, I know to march them up at those divot marks, and I can do my binding edge with little square holes. Okay, you can also just leave the paper long and use that for the binding. You can also, in this set, it has a spine, which is awesome because usually you pick that up separately. So it comes with a spine. The spine also has marks where, you know, for different reasons, but we have our spine here that we can then mountain and valley fold. And this one looks like it'll hold 2 pages, so if you want to continue on to 3, 4, you know, however many, you can either trim it down or add more, and then glue them here like in this area, so then you just continue making your mountain and valley folds. So that's the very basic part of this. What I want to point out is just how gorgeous these are. So these are the pages. When you cut your page, you're going to have this beautiful embossing, and they're all similar, so they all coordinate. You have this guy that can also be a matte layer for, like, let's say this larger one. Let's talk about the larger one. And look at this, how cute. This one has diamonds, this one has hearts. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's say this is a matte layer. Well, on this side we also have these guys, and this one's just slightly bigger than this one. So this one can mat over this one. This one can have an inlay with it. This one can be paired together to make a very thin frame, right? If you wanted that frame with the stitching. Then we have this other one here. Of course, that one has an inlay. This one has this well, it's not an inlay, but this one has another matte layer that has little dots. We have this tag that also has mats and layers to it. And back on this side, we have the die again that's matting and layer with these guys that's just a little bit larger, so it goes behind this, you know. I mean, there is infinite ways to mat and layer this. And then we have this center one right here that again is just slightly larger than this one here, so it's just a way to give you more you know, spread over these 2 pages that will mat and layer together. It's hard to make dies that are going to be in the same spot, right, occupying the same spot. So I love the way they're split up, the sizes here. And then words, right? I mean, this one, it looks like it says Eternal Friends, and then of course it's just a delicate wording, and then the background for it. We have the inlay of and family, and it's like a little bracket. I don't know what I want to say. Like a little plaque there, my, and then it embosses those words. I mean, look at these little bits. I was gonna say with the little hearts and like these little pieces that are gonna emboss that, and you can use them here and there. Live, laugh, love, that mats into or layers into this one. There's other words that would layer into that. I'm just trying to go through everything and not, you know. Then, now, and forever. Oh, how cute. These sentiments for all the fun times. And then memories, and that's its own little plaque. Another tag with layers also. This one also has this little tag hole there. These guys can be used as reinforcements for this, basically decoration. Super cute. Love with the little heart cut out with the little tag hole. This one's just like a full heart with the embossing, and then you can emboss that center if you want. This circle, that probably goes back to like something else. We have all these other bits here. Dream, friendship. I mean, there's these pieces that are cut solid pieces for you. Let's see if we got through all of them. Okay, hope, love, and forever. And then these little guys are the cutest. So what these would make is like pull tabs. Let's say you made some tags that you're going to tuck into your pockets, or even these guys, you know, if you made this into a tag because you like the shape and you're going to pop it into one of these larger pockets. If you want to make pockets, there's flips, there's all kinds of things you can do with these. You would put this little guy, right, run it through, and then fold it over, and you would have it there, and you can decorate that with the little flower pieces. Like this one has embossing, and it cuts out the edge. And now you have this cute little embossed flower with what essentially looks like a paper clip. And I was even wondering if we can make hidden ultra paper clips with this. We might try. I have to have a small clippy. Otherwise, you can just glue them down, or again, like make paper clips. This one has like little arrows, other decorative pieces. This one's like little circles. Of course, these you can use for different things. I'm not sure that this one is for the pull tab, but you can decorate with it however you like. Another little pull tab or clippy, and this one here, they both have like little decoration on them. And of course, I mean, all the mats and layers. So I'm gonna grab some paper, and we're just gonna get started. We'll make our basic book and maybe give you some ideas on your pages, and just wow. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay guys, so for today, since we have the binding spine in here, I'm going to use it. Again, you can do this kind of thing where you then tie it, you can put rings or however you want to do it. You know, always check out the design team, you know, the blogs, because they always have tons of ideas. Okay, different. So what I'm going to do is just one way. It's not the only way, and definitely do what you like. Now, there's a couple things we can do. I'm going to use the middle size, make the middle size book. Okay, so we have the larger guy, and actually let me measure that for you guys. I'm sure you're curious. Oh, and then we'll go from there. Oh, my little Hoy card. Have you seen that one yet? Okay, let's see here. So this one from the very edge to, you know, cutting edge is 6 1/4, and the height is like 9 1/2. Okay, and then they go smaller from there. I'll measure the book when we're done, hopefully, if I remember. So this can be your front and back cover, and it can also be your pages. You can use the size smaller for your pages. You know, it's up to you, whatever it is that you want. If you want your pages to be a little bit smaller, you know, they're just going to hang out inside the book a little bit smaller. But I'm going to make them all basically the same. So we're going to cut this out several times. For the book pages, we don't need any of this binding edge because we're going to stick them to this guy. So we're just going to cut them off anyway here. So I'm going to make it, this will make you 2 pages because there's a mountain and valley fold and a mountain valley fold, so 2 pages. Meaning front and back, so now you have 4 pages, or 4 sides, should I say, but 2 pages. So I'm going to make the book with 4 pages, just so we can make it a little bit bigger. This one has a 1/4 inch spacing in between, which is what I normally do for my mini albums, but do whatever you like. If you want 1/2 inch in between, because you're going to really put like flowers and things in between your pages that might make it a lot thicker, then don't use this. You can make your own spacing, you can make your own binding edge, you can make do it the way Tonic and Jody have shown before in the older videos. You can check those out, which is basically just leaving some extra room on here, cutting it, and then leaving yourself a 1/2 inch space, that will space in between each one. I don't know if that makes sense, but for now I'm going to do this, and then maybe we'll discuss the other one in a different video if you guys want me to follow up with that. So for each page you need a front and a back. So we're going to need 4 pages, so that means I need 8 of these, basically just like this. Like I said, I don't need this edge. And then for the front and the back cover, we need 2 for each one, right? The front and the, so when you turn it, it looks nice, so both sides of the page look nice. So we're gonna need 4 more. So 8 that are gonna be for the inner pages, 4 that are gonna be for the outer pages. Only one of those really needs to have some extra room on it because it's going to come around our book, the binding, and then we're going to put the binding in it. But we'll talk about that in just a minute. So I have lots of different papers here. For the front cover, now what happens is I can probably get 2 off of this sheet, but I want some extra here. So I'm going to leave it like this. So for the front and back cover, we're going to need 2 that are going to cut just like this. Like cut it right on the edge, let that piece hang over, and if anything, I might even cut my paper down just so, I don't know why. I like to preserve my paper. But we're going to leave this. So what happens is when you cut this, it's not going to cut this edge. So that way you can do whatever you want with that, if it's a binding edge or however. But I'm going to tape that down and run it through. For the inside of the book, I just need 8 pages, right? 8 sides. So you can definitely get 2 of them on one sheet. This is A2 size paper because you can see we don't need any extra hanging out over here. You can just cut them both out. They're going to stay stuck on the paper because it doesn't remove this edge. But I'll talk about that in just a minute. So for now, I'm going to run this through. And normally, you know, I cut down my papers, and we don't need to do that right now. We need to leave the length. And again, maybe I can use the rest of this paper for a mat and layer later in the card, in the book. But for now, we need this. And I need basically 2 of this for the front and the back, okay? So you saw I lined it right up here. I'm going to let it cut. I'll be right back. What this looks like. And, you know, I cut it in this direction. Look how gorgeous that is, the embossing, and that's just running it through just like that. I ran it through the tangerine, and as you can see, it's still held on here. Now, I could have run it through this way, and then just snipped away this portion, but I don't really know how long I need, and it feels like I probably only need like 1.5 inches in the spine, but extra. But I did it this way. You don't have to do it this way. This, you know, it might be better for you to go that way if you want, and then just trim away this excess paper. However you want to do it. And maybe I'll end up doing it that way. Who knows? Okay, so like I said, I need 2 for the front and the back. And then I just need a ton of just pages. So on the other ones, I'm just going to cut 1 and then put the second one right on here. I'll get 2 from each page, okay? And I'll be right back. Check in with you guys to show you something. If you don't want to do a lot of trimming away of this edge that doesn't cut on these pages, just make your paper face out that way. And you know what I'm saying? That edge face the very back. You know, it does waste a little bit of paper in here, but what are you going to do with that anyway? That little strip. So just put it on the edge, and then all you have to do is trim away that excess instead of having to cut it, you know, out of your paper possibly. So we have this little piece. Again, we're just going to trim that piece off because we just need pages on the inside that are going to stick to our binding. So I'll keep working. So I have most of my pieces. I did cut some down already. I just want to show you. I mean, look how beautiful these just stack. Like, because everything, obviously it's a die, but even cutting that edge off, since it has that little marker, you can do it so easily. So, okay, I have several here. These are for the inside pages. Basically, since they're the same size, it doesn't really matter for the inside or the front and back cover, as far as this part is concerned. But basically what I did is, you know, how I showed you guys how I put them at the edge like this. That way, all I have to do is cut this part off when I'm ready. I'm just going to take this other one just to show you how I did that. And I just lined it up notch to notch. If you want to score it so you can see it better or however, but basically I can just bring it here and just try to cut it in the same spot, you know. Obviously we have notches there that help us see what we're cutting, but I did cut mine a little bit to the left of that. And that's it. And now, I mean, they're all great. So if you remember initially I showed you for the front cover we need something to leave us a piece that we can leave a little bit longer, because that's going to actually come around for our binding. So I'm going to leave this for a moment. This is the one that has one of our pages, so I'm just going to remove this. This is just another page or a cover for the front or back, it doesn't matter. But again, I'm going to just cut this one off because it's just going to be another page like this. This is the one that I cut for the back cover, because all we're going to do with the back is just add it on. And honestly, this one can basically be treated as an inside page, because I'm not going to use this little flat piece. Okay, so this one could have been cut just like the rest of the pages. I just kind of wanted to give you a little differentiation. It also depends on how you're binding it. So I'm going to use the spine, and then this is going to wrap around the spine and come back to get this guy. So again, I'm just going to cut this one off. And the other one, I guess I should have just done that, the one I just showed you. So there are tons of ways to do this. Tons of ways to have fun with this. This is, again, it's just one of them that I'm just thinking of right now, but however you want to do it. Before I cut this guy, because like I said, we do want some size here to just come around and look nice and finished. I want to show you, let me put this guy back. I think we're done with that one. So I'll tell you how many of these guys I have in total, but basically it's the 4 pages, so each page needs a front and back, so that's 8 of these, plus the cover. The cover also needs a back piece, so that's 9, 10. And then the back piece needs that and a cover, so 12. So we have 12, basically, of these guys cut. And that took about 8 pages or so of cardstock, maybe 7, but I think I counted 8. And I'm just letting you know, just in case when you go to make your project, you want to make sure you have enough pages, unless you want to mix and match the colors, however you want to do it. Oh, what I want is the spine. And I think on this page I'll cut the spine since we have this extra and we don't need all of this, but I'm going to cut the spine here. And let's see, it's about that much more. So I need about this much paper. And I probably just need, you know, maybe like 2 extra inches on this one. So I'm just going to cut this down. Again, keeping in mind how much I need on this side. I could even do it this way, but it's going to be so tight. So we're going to cut it this way. So again, there, and just about here. I can cut like here, let's say. And this is just, I'm trying to be a little frugal with my paper, but, you know, however you guys want to cut your stuff is fine. I'm going to run this through twice. So 1 and then 2, because I want 2 of this. Maybe I'll keep it higher up here. I can use this for something else, a label or something. So let's do that. So when I come back, I'm going to have 2 of these spines. We have our pages ready, even though we're not going to do anything with them quite yet, because we're going to make our spines. So I'm going to run this through, have 2 of those. And with this guy, now you can eyeball this, or you can, if you're really good, put it on a, not a guillotine, but like your scoring kind of a paper trimmer, because then you can line it up and then just start with your paper trimmer and go, you know what I'm saying? But I am just going to eyeball this one and go straight up to that line. Same thing here. Now I normally would turn it and go that way, but I'm just going to eyeball it from here. Again, also straight. What I believe to be straight. And you can also score it just so you're more sure, but that looks pretty good. Okay. So let me run this guy through and we will make our spine and start putting it together. Okay, let me put some of these things to the side. So this is our spine. So like I said, look at it up close. It has these guys that have like these little dots, a space, dot, another space, right? It starts off with spaces. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to go skip this one on this line, the one that's in between 2 of the spaces with dots. I'm going to fold it. Okay. Now, if you're using red liner tape, you could put red liner tape in one of the channels that has the dots, right? So right in here, not on this one. This guy's kind of free flowing. That's one of our spacers. So I'm going to fold him backwards. But if you had red liner, you put it there, and when you fold it over, it's just going to hold on. I'm going to use glue because a wet glue always holds up better. It's my opinion and my experience, so that's what I'm going to do. So on this other one, we're going to fold it back. So I want you to see that the spaces here are about, I was going to say 1/8 of an inch. These little spaces, let me try to measure them. Yeah, they're 1/8 of an inch. Now, if you want your book to have wider spaces in between the pages, because basically what we're doing here is you're making this spine, and then one page, well, not those, but one page goes on one side, one goes on the other, and then like that, right? Sorry, so if one goes on one side, one goes on the other, this is how much room you're going to have in between before the next page starts. So if you want more space than that 1/8 of an inch, you will definitely want to make your own spine. And I can follow up with a video on that. I've done videos like that before, just making spines, but I can do that for you guys. Just let me know. What I'm going to do is, one little thing I forgot, one little oversight is that we need to cut this guy down, the spine. Now, what you can do is just, okay, I can place it here and just cut it by hand, or you can etch it and cut it with your guillotine or however it is, but basically you need this guy to be the same width. So I'm going to take this one and cut it down, and then we'll start assembling it. Sorry, guys. One little oversight. All right, I'm just going to cut that down the same size there. Okay. Now what I did was make it so it's the same size as the binding, because again, this same spine will work well for all the books. All the different sizes. Okay, so we're going to get started. So again, this is basically what you're doing. Flat, fold, flat. Then this next one is going to also make a fold, again pointing up, so let's do that. So those 2 channels need to hold on to each other, and that's what makes the spine, where your book pages are going to hold on to. Okay, and the reason I did 2 is because this is going to give me 2 pages, right? I need 4, so these other guys we're going to lay over each other and keep going. But for now, I'll just show you what I'm going to do here, and then I'm going to do the exact same thing here. But I'm going to use a wet glue, so this is going to be something that's going to have to be held down until it's for sure set up. And since I'm going to do both of them, I'm doing both at the same time so I can hold on to this and be done with that. So I'm putting the glue just in those channels, and we're going to hold it together like this. I was remiss in talking about the paper itself. This is 110-pound paper, roughly 300 GSM paper. It's thick. You know, I would say use 200 and above as far as GSMs, maybe 90 pound or higher. So there's that one. I'm going to hold this one, and I'm holding them in the air. Again, if you want to hold them flat, like down like this, the way they're going to be, you can definitely do that. But I do want to hold them, so we want to make sure that this stays glued. So I'll be back once this one is set up, and I'm going to do this one exactly the same way, okay? Fold it exactly the same as this one. Okay guys, so we have our two pieces that are our binding pieces, and then basically one's going to overlap over the other, and that's how you just continue it, okay? And you don't even see that junction there, so we'll do that in just a minute. But I'm going to take my front cover. Again, I left myself like 3 or 4 inches. You literally do not need that. If you're doing this 4, if you really measure it, you can see on my grid, it's about 1 inch. So not too much. Again, if you're gonna make your own spine, maybe you give yourself a 1/4 inch between. That's probably gonna be 2 inches wide, right? Because we're basically doubling what we just did there. But I'm gonna take a scoring board, and I always have mine marked with the 4 1/4, so I can see that very boldly. And I'm gonna line up my little notches. So what we're gonna do is bone fold that, so that we can fold it over on that line. Where is my little? Oh, we'll use this one. Push too hard since I'm using this kind of fine line thing. So basically here I'm just folding it just so I know where I'm going to start my spine. Okay, again, this is the front cover, and what we're going to do is adhere our little spine pieces right in there. Okay. And so I'm going to put glue all over this. Again, I'm using a wet glue, so this is going to take a minute. I'll have to come back and check in with you guys. We don't want to sit here and watch glue dry, but really get that glue on there. And we're going to rest that right at, you know, pretty close to the score line there. Right? So our book still opens and closes nicely. So it's right to the right of the score line. And then I'm just kind of judging the centering up and down there. Get rid of some of this extra glue. And I'm still holding it, but what I'm going to do is put a little glue here. And I can just put it on this guy too. And we're just going to bring this guy over. And again, we're going to nestle that so that one of the areas is right on top of that. So essentially making one spine. Look at that, it looks so pretty. I don't know if you can see. I went with this blush color just to do something different. I know a lot of times, especially myself, I would like to do like a black background with a memory book, so whatever it is that you like, but there we go. I went with this blush color. So I'm going to let this set up just for another minute or so before I move on, but basically we're going to score this right here. And then we're going to leave ourselves like a glue tab that we're going to then bring in our back panel, our back page, and then cover them up so they look nice and neat, and then put it on our pages. Okay, I let that set up for a few minutes, and I'm actually going to use a different bone folder. That one was too pointy. Okay, so again, I'm going to put the edge of our spine, you know, that last little space that has that little space there for us. I'm going to put that on my blue line here, and just score it so I can fold this. Now I'm probably just going to use scissors to cut this last piece, but let's score that really nicely. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit more. This paper is thick, and I want to make sure we have a nice score here. There we go. Don't fight the paper, just score it a little bit more. So now this piece here, we can slide this under our guillotine or whatever and cut it off, but I'm just going to eyeball this, so I just need to leave myself enough to go into that page. And you know, I mean, I can leave this whole flap really if you wanted to, just to give yourself enough, but just a tab for glue. And I'm going to bring in one of our pages. Now check this out, it has the I was saying embroidery, has the embossing on one side, and then the other side where that extra piece was that we cut off, that piece is going to be here, okay? So I'm just going to put glue on this, and pretty close to the edge, the outer edge, just so this can be in there, look nice. And I'm just going to line that up, paying attention here, and then maybe looking to the back and making sure that's nice and right on that edge. Looks pretty good. Okay, I'm going to hold on to this until it sets up, okay? And I'll be right back, okay, guys. So, I haven't decorated anything yet. I haven't put anything, you know, on the front. You could have decorated this and then added it, or however it is that you want to do your book. Do you want your book oriented this way and have like words going this way, or just, you know, this way? However it is that you want to do it. I think I am going to put some ribbon. Now, I haven't really chosen the papers I'm going to use, but I think a cream colored ribbon will go. It always coordinates. So I'm going to place that in now because we are going to go ahead and put our covers on this, finish it off. So I need some of this to be there already. So I'm just going to cut, and that's like probably too much, but almost a foot of ribbon there. And I'll match the same for the front. And that's if you want a ribbon closure. If you want to put a different kind of closure or no closure, that's up to you, of course. Do what you like. Now I am going to take a moment though and singe the ends of my ribbon. So if you want to do that, if you want to do dovetails, which look really cute, you can just kind of fold it like this and give yourself a little dovetail. You're going to take a flame if you would like and just run it past there to singe those areas so that they don't fall apart. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing for the other one. Okay, so I just did the two ends because the other ends are going to be inside. And, you know, if your ribbon has a certain face, of course you want that to be facing out. And I'm just going to hold that down for a second. Doesn't really need to be like anything too dramatic. We're just going to hold this in here. And I'm centering it just by eye, but if you want to measure this, it's like, you know, 4 inches, so maybe you're right in between there. You can place that. And we're just going to take one of our covers. Again, the side that doesn't have the embroidery, well, let's just call it embroidery, we'll keep calling it that way, is going to be facing towards inside. And all we're going to do is place this on top. So that's going to make it look really nice on the inside, make it super sturdy, and go from there, right? So all I'm going to do is stick this down. If you're trying to make pockets or other things on this outside one already, you know, you can leave it open so that you can stick a little tag in there, but I'm going to close it up completely because I put the ribbon and I don't want it to be messed with later. And I usually put, you know, glue all over, really on the edges to make sure that that seals up nicely. And you can just make sure up and down that that's there. I am a huge fan of the way the ones that are kind of left open, the die, the ones we've been using, because it gives you that little extra that normally you try to account for, or maybe you put the die on the edge, or you know, do a folded over card and then leave it hanging off the edge. Like this just gives you so much and is going to let you make lots of flaps and stuff like that. So we're going to do some fun things in some of the pages. But for now I'm going to do the front page exactly the same. I'm going to tape this, add it, and put another cover page right on top. And that'll look super nice. And then we're going to add in our pages. Okay. So again, depending on how you're binding and what you want to do, you know, really the back page should be treated just like any of these other ones where you're just going to need 2 pages, right, to complete it. But sometimes you might want to have that to have a tab because you're going to make a tab from it or however. So just work it however you would like. Now for our pages on the inside, well, I just want to show you real quick. Look how pretty this is already. We have our little ribbons here, ready to go. And I want to show you the little hearts, even at that, they're totally symmetrical, where the hearts go up this way and they go down this way, and if you flipped it the other way, it would be the same, you know? So everything's just so well done. Okay, so these guys. Now, you can definitely, again, the side that doesn't have the beautiful detail is going to go down this way. And so, again, there are different ways to do this. I'm going to go ahead and put my glue on right now, this whole thing. If you want to put like red liner tape just on this edge and stick it down and then come in with your other side to finish the sandwich, go for it. I like to put quite a bit. So, and of course, again, because it's a wet glue, I have to wait. So I'm going to bring this right against that first little tab. And I'm just going to hold it there. And again, I already put my glue, but you can put the glue on the second one. You don't have to put it on this first one like I did. I'm putting my glue, but I'm also paying attention, you know, up and down where we're at. And then we can bring in this other guy. And again, I'm going to put glue along the edge that goes down by the binding. And I already put glue on this guy, so I don't have to do this again. We're going to bring this guy over and put him on the other side of that tab. Line them up. Make sure we're good and happy with our alignment. And I'm just looking at them, making sure they're pretty much lined up very well. And I'm going to hold on. Now, again, did you want to make pockets? If you want to make like a pocket, I wouldn't have put any glue on this, just put glue around this, and then you have a little area that you can slide things in and out of. I'm probably not going to do any of that for this book as far as pockets on the actual page, but we are going to make pockets like on the page and other places, so I just want to remind you, don't glue it shut if you don't want that area glued shut. And so there it is. That's our first page. And you can really get in there because, you know, you can manipulate these guys so that they kind of lay flat away from you, so you can get in here and really make sure that your pages are holding on. And since it's glue, unless someone tears it, it's not going to fall out and it's not going to open up later. So that's why I prefer wet glue. It does take time to wait. I mean, we've been sitting here talking, massaging, doing all that together. And I mean, there's your page. Okay, I'm still going to hold on to this, as you can see on the top. But the next one's going to be the same. I'll put glue, just like you saw me do. Make sure that the undecorated area is down this way on the next one. And then add the next piece. Hold them together, go to the next one and the next one. So when I come back, I'll have 4 pages installed. Okay guys, I just finished up and I actually let it sit here for a little while, so I haven't manipulated it at all. But I mean, look how perfect that lines up. And all I did was just follow, you know, side to side as I put that on there. I wasn't super careful with it, but look at that. Okay, so again, our 4 pages. So we have about 1/8 of an inch in between them, so I can't make them too thick like what I'm going to put on here, but I wanted to pass along a few ideas. Of course, and I didn't mention this at the beginning, I get samples, so my sample, you know, isn't like any kind of packaging or it doesn't have the instructions with it. Your instructions will have some ideas of maybe different ways to use the dies to make like trifold, and I think some kind of fold out. So we'll go over making a couple different things here. So again, we use this middle one. So for a lot of this matte and layering, I'm going to be using this one. And I'm really using papers that have patterns on them already. So, okay, I'm using the one that's inside of the one that we used earlier. I may even use this one here, but we'll get to that in a minute. But I'm just talking about mattes and layers right now. So it's the one right inside. And then the one over here. And like I said, I'm using papers that already have a lot going on. So I don't think I'm going to cut into them today. Maybe in a different book. But for now, we're going to use these guys. I haven't decided if I want to orient it this way or this way still. So we'll get to that in a minute. But I want to show you some of the colors that I chose to go along with this, because basically I built this. It's kind of like a very soft pinky beige. And I went through my stash and I grabbed these colors. I think these are going to be great. So I have a mirror card in Baroque Rose. I have that quilted paper in Salmon Harlequin. Speciality card. This foiled craft card I've been dying to use. I got it a while back and I've been waiting to use for just the right occasion. Rose Gold Blossom is the craft card with the gold in there, rose gold. And then I found this as I was going through my stash, which I probably have more and I'll probably pull out more. It looks like a rose gold metallic, I want to say. I don't know. Okay, so some of these are double-sided, some of them are single-sided. So that will also be a reason why we need to cut things a certain way or however. For right now, I'm just going to do a matte and layer for the front. And we usually do the same on the front. Well, not we. You can do whatever you want, obviously. I don't know if I'm going to matte and layer the back. Of course, it looks gorgeous. You can add more. Maybe let's go all out. We'll do that. So for this one, for the front and the back, I'm going to use these two. So I'm going to take this guy. And again, if you want to gut this, meaning after I cut this, a lot of it's going to be covered up because these dies are only a little bit different, you know, it's the smallest edge. So I'm going to cut this out twice because I want for the front and the back. And if you want to take this whole middle section out and use it for something else, you can definitely do that because this one is basically going to cover that up and you're not going to see that anyway. That's up to you. And then I'm going to use this Salmon Harlequin. Oh, I hope I have enough. Yeah, okay. I was like, I want to use this one quite a bit in the book, so I hope I have enough for this. So I'm going to do 2 of this, and I think it probably fits better to this way, okay, to maximize my paper. And so I'm just eyeballing this. I'll cut that down right now. And maybe the same thing with this guy, huh? Side by side. Let's see. There. Oh yeah, but it'll be just side by side if I do that. So I'll have to put it right on the edge. Okay, I'm going to run these 2 through and I'll be right back. Guys, look at that. So that's kind of what I was saying. If you want to remove this portion on the inside with like an X-Acto knife or something, you can definitely do that. And on the front cover, if you want to put some dimension between this and this layer or this layer and that, you know, you can always put some dimensional adhesives. But for now, I'm just going to adhere these one to the other. Oh, so pretty. And then I'm going to just glue this on. So once that's set up, I'll just apply some glue and just glue it right on the center right there. Same thing for the back. Oh my gosh, you guys. All right, I'm done. Look how beautiful that is. So pretty. And up to this point, you can still decide, does this need to be the front or should this be the front? I mean, it doesn't really matter. And then, of course, your direction. So I think I will do it in a portrait mode. But so for these pages, you know, I like to keep some simple and then do something fun with the others. So I think for this one, what we can do is I'll cut a matte layer, maybe from that same quilted paper, just to have a quilted piece here. So that I will do for that guy. I'll use the one with the little stitches. I don't even see the stitches look like they're uneven. How cute is that? And I'll cut the same thing for this side. So from this quilted paper, I'll cut 2 of these guys, and then we're going to do something fun on top of that. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I cut these guys, and I'm just going to adhere them. So just put some glue, get this guy down, and I'm going to seal up what I'm going to do right now with the ribbon. If you want to put the ribbon under this layer, you can definitely do that, or just go for it like I'm going to do and put it under its own layer, the next layer. But there's so many options to play with these, you guys. It's a lot of fun. Again, just grab your beautiful papers and it's that much more easy because like I love the way this looks, so I'm just going to use it like that. And I'll also adhere another one on this side, okay? So basically they're the same kind of base, what we're looking at, and then we're going to do some fun stuff on top of that. I'll be right back. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to create a little book that kind of flaps open. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take that same base color paper that I had before, and I'm going to cut these guys. Now I just need about what's left here. I don't need a big piece left over, so if I want to cut these on the edges, it'll be just that much easier because then I just use it just the way it is. So I'm going to cut, I need 2 that have the flaps and then 3 pieces that aren't going to have the flaps. So I'm going to cut this one here, again just because it's already on the edge and I don't have to cut that off. And I'll cut one off the other side, and then I just need 3 more. And those 3 more, I'm just going to cut off this piece, kind of like we did earlier, right? So I don't really care where they end up on my paper, but I'm going to cut one on this side, one facing this way, and then whatever else I can fit on this page. And that is the smaller, like bookmaking part, right? And I'll be right back. Okay, guys. So on 3 of these, we're going to cut the whole, not the whole side, but just from that little divot off, right? And these guys we're going to keep, but we're going to score it in just a minute because we're going to tuck those behind what we got going on, and that'll make a little flip-flap kind of thing. Alright, so we have those. And I popped on here. Let me clean up a little bit and then we'll get that assembled. So we can either go ahead and score this now, you know, knowing you're basically going to score it right at that line, or you can attach it, put a little line, and then score it over. The reason I would hesitate a little bit is just because you want them to tuck into each other really nicely. So basically like this. So when I fold this over, it's like this. So if you're looking at that, you know, where would that score line be? So if I really wanted this to tuck on top and be perfectly lined up, and you don't have to perfectly line them up, I'm just something we can think about. It's a little bit inside that score line, so you can just kind of give it a little bit of a score. And I guess I should talk about this just a little bit more before I finish this part. I'm kind of pushing it outwards. What I want to show you is these are rough cut edges, right? This is the nice side that has the embossing and everything. So we want these guys in here. So again, the embossing, and it's going to fold over that. And then we're going to finish off these rough cuts with, you know, toppers to make it look nice. So basically we're coming in here and we're going to glue that down. And same thing for the other side. Now, I already measured this one, and this will be the one that needs to go down first. You know, just to make sure. I fold it over, and it pretty much lies right on top of that nicely. So I'm going to hold it for that reason. And then this guy, we're going to do the same kind of thing, but he's going to have a little bit extra to deal with because we're going to put this nice layer up on here. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and place that layer right now, just so we know exactly how much this other one needs to score for it to be pretty much centered. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So I'm just going to lay that on top. So what I'm saying is that you can see this comes out a little bit slightly out, because to keep these centered on top of each other so it's exactly the same, you have to have a little give over here. And that's what's really nice about these kind of page dies that don't have an end, because you can manipulate them however you like. This can continue going, you can make this into all kinds of different things, but for now this is what we're going to do. Okay. Pretty good. Alright, and then this guy, again, nice side needs to be facing up because we're going to glue that down, but we want to center it over this, right? And we can turn it over. You can still see through there if you're pretty centered or not. And now we're going to score. And this time, as you can see, it's a little bit closer to that divot. Right? And it has a little more to clear because now it's a thicker area there. For this to kind of go over these two pieces, it has to be a thicker little divot. Okay. And now we're going to glue that down. Again, right to the very back. And as I do that, I will fold this over. I'll eyeball to make sure we're still in a good spot. You can score. Just holding that down. Making sure we're still lined up really well. And again, because you have that extra, it just helps you line it up super nicely. And while I'm holding that down, might as well pop this guy on top. And then we'll put some toppers on these little guys. Now, again, we have 1/8 of an inch between pages, so we don't want to go too thick for this one. And as far as the embroidery goes, you know, it's not on one side, it's on the other, the embossing, so I'm just choosing to put the side that doesn't have the embossing, like, further out, you know, so that the prettiness is over here. It just seems like that would be the way. Okay, so I'm going to hold all this down, and then I'll show you what that looks like when I come back. It's probably still setting up, but I just want to show you. So it opens up like this, and opens up like this, and it's going to be right here. Okay, and then it'll open up and open up, and you have all those places for pictures, for more mats, layers, journaling, of course, all that good stuff. So the die I'm going to use to do a little topper on those guys will be the next one in from the page die, because it has a little stitching and it's really sweet. You can use the next one or whatever you want, or if you keep matting and layering, you can use that guy, you know, however you want to do it. I'm using this one, and I'm trying to think if I want to do all the pages or just like this top one, maybe that one, and leave these all bare. We'll see. But either way, I'm going to use this, the rose gold blossom paper. So I'm going to cut out at least 2, and I might cut out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll be right back. So, you know, I'm going to do the 2, mostly because If I continue on, this video is going to be even longer, but I want to show you tips and things like that, you know, instead of just all the, you know, I'll just embellish it with another layer just like this. So I'm just going to lay these down and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm just holding that guy down. So pretty. Okay, and for this one, now if you want to use magnetic, you know, little magnet latches, I would have put the magnet under this layer, the one we just put down, and then this one we would have, you know, another layer of paper to hold the other magnet so that it latches. I do not have any magnets right now. I actually ordered some, so happy when those get in. But for now, let's just do this. And you know, I don't know how much I need of this, but I want to be generous, so I'm just going to put quite a bit. And I'm going to dovetail the tails like I did earlier, and I'll be right back. Okay. So now we can glue this down into the book, or you can add it now like you did before, or like I did before. So I'm just going to put a little bit of extra ATG, and I'm just going to wrap it all around instead of two separate pieces. Makes it easy. And this, I think this does have a nice side and a not so nice side. I'm not 100% sure, but let's see where we're at. Trying to see just about where the center of the ribbon is and where the center of this guy is. Pretty good there. It's a little bit longer. Let's go this way. Okay. Boom, boom. And let's bring our book back. And I'm just going to glue this in. Oh my gosh, you guys, this looks so pretty. I really want to keep this in there. So I'll put a little glue behind this because I can tell I didn't put the ATG there or here. And then glue on this too. I want to stay this. We want that to stay down. All right. Oh my gosh, this looks like royal, doesn't it? So pretty. All right, I'm gonna hold that down and I'll be back. Okay, it's still wet, but you know, we would just go ahead and make our bow. Again, I don't want to mess with this too much right now, but you get the idea. Our little bow. I'm gonna take that apart actually so you can see this, and then boom, boom. Looks gorgeous. Okay, I'm gonna tie that and clear it up a little bit, and then we will go on to our next page. Okay, for the next page, I'm gonna keep it simple. It's just gonna be two matte layers. They're just gonna be pretty with the paper, and later if you want to cut like a photo with that same, you know, with the die that follows, you can definitely do that. But for now, what I'm gonna do is this guy, and I am gonna cut with this decorative die. So that's on the decorative die page, not the page that has the page dies. So I'll put these two together. Of course, I'll run it through taped down so they don't move. And I'm going to do two of those, okay? And I will be right back. So for this one, I'm just going to glue these guys down on either side. And it's just a pretty kind of matte page. Okay, and I will be right back. Okay, so we have our page here. We have this one, it's just kind of matte. This one, we're gonna make a little pocket. Why not? So for the mattes, I'm gonna use the larger, you know, the one that goes right inside our size book with the stitching, and I'm gonna cut that from two of them from this pretty guy. And I think they might both fit on here, so I'll get those. And then I'm gonna cut this one from the base color paper, and ooh. Yep, and I'll be right back. Our pieces here. I'm going to make a tag real quick before we move on. So again, I've cut that one. We're going to trim this down. I was going to trim it down halfway or just fold it in half, but it looks kind of plain, so I'm going to do something different with that. So we'll leave that for now. I'm going to cut our base color paper out of this little guy. Okay, and from this one, they're basically this one's from the page die set. You know, from that mat there, or sheet, and then this guy's from here, and he's like the smaller one that has a little stitching. So this one I'm going to cut from the base color, and this one I'm going to cut from the rose gold, or I think, or what's it called? Brush pink. Okay, I'll be right back. I have these two pieces. So this is going to make a tag, and that's why I went with the base color so that people can write on that if they want to write on there, and it'll pop in here. And I'm going to use this little guy. So cute, you guys, with the that coppery kind of pink metallic paper. I'm going to cut this out, and you know what? While I'm at it, I'll cut out the little topper piece from, I don't know, a coordinating color. I'll be right back. Okay, guys. Aw, look at this. I didn't think it was going to emboss, like you wouldn't see it because of the quilting, but look at that right on there. And look at this. Oh my gosh. So again, these little guys, we're just going to fold them over. They cut these so smart. Look at that. And it looks nice on both sides. So, okay. Well, let's go ahead and assemble this, I suppose. And then I'll go into that little guy. Yeah, definitely please leave me questions. I know there's so many ideas. I mean, this is one of those things where it's just, you can do so much with it, and people do so much with them. It's just like mind-blowing. Let me put this back over here before I misplace it. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on here. Pop this little guy on. How cute is that? Oh my gosh. So that's going to take a minute to set up because they're both slick surfaces. Well, actually the back of this quilted paper is kind of more matte, but whenever something's slick, it takes a while for them to set up. I'm just going to put some glue on both pieces because I don't know what's actually going to be touching. And I know this is going to be kind of a big guy to put in here, so I want to keep mindful of that. So we have our little pulley here. Okay, I'm just going to hold that down. And I'll be right back. Okay, I think we're good here. So again, that one's just going to be the way it is. You know, maybe put a picture on it or however. We'll put that to the side. This guy, what I'm going to do is a couple things that you might think might be a little different. I'm going to score this. So again, my blue line to blue line, or whichever line you know is going to be straight, choose that one. And then I'm going to score from here to here. So it's going to be a really sharp angle there. And then I'm going to cut off the excess. Again, just keeping that line in mind. It doesn't really matter. We're just going to cut some of this off, and our score mark is going to help us, but whatever you have left over is fine. Like a 1/4 inch or so, something like that. So you can kind of see what I have here. And you know, you don't have to make it that deep. It was just easy to spot that and then go for it. And I'm being very careful with this as I go to score. Fold this over. And this is a little trick I learned from Jody Johnson over there at Tonic. Just because if you're going to be putting tags in and out, she says, you know, just to reinforce that edge to make it more substantial and nicer. And so that's what I'm going to do. But I'm also going to cut off this little bit that comes out on this side. And you can actually cut it at an angle if you want, even more further in, just to get rid of that. And this one's already angled in, so we're good there. So, since I'm using a wet glue, this is going to be a little minute. I'm going to put some glue here and hold this guy down. And then we'll add it to our page, okay? It's going to take a minute. Guys, nice and sturdy there. You know, you can throw this through an embossing folder and give it some texture, just because I went with the plain color. You can still even layer this up with more of the same things, just cut it down. It'd be really nice. So on this one, we're just going to put glue on the very edge because we want it to be a pocket. And we also don't want it to fall apart, so I'm putting glue, but you know, I'm being pretty generous with it there. And we can see kind of where that needs to be. Right in there. Okay, I'm going to hold that down before I even try to put anything in, because we want that to stay. I will be right back. I think I'm ready to bring this over here. And yeah, I'll put the pocket on this side. So, and you know what, the other thing is we haven't done any of the sentiments that are in this kit, and there are tons. So again, that's a cute thing to put across that kind of bare color that I have here, maybe memories or one of the words from in there. And so I'm just going to pop this in here. And then I'll do the same thing for the other side. I'll put this one over here, and I'll be right back. Okay. And then we have this cute little guy. Now, of course, it has other little tags that we can put in here, like that are meant to be tags, like this one. You can pop in there with some layers. You have this little guy. Maybe put a little something cute on top there. And of course, even with these, you can still put these little clippies on there. Just because it has a hole doesn't mean you can't just put that on top. You know, I was looking at these, and I believe they use them as like closures. Or there's different ways to use all these different things. Of course, I'm just not even scratching the surface, in my opinion. I mean, there's so much to do. Okay, so let me clean up a little bit and grab the items I'll need for the next 2 pages, and then we have the last 2. Okay, so for these 2 pages, again, I'm going to keep it more simple. I'm going to cut 2 of the one that's right inside, you know, that we've been using, that we just used, actually. I'll cut 2 of these guys out of the pink quilted paper. So yeah, I'm going to cut 2 of these, and then I think, oh, where's my other one? Oh, here it is. I'm going to cut this one from the burnished rose. So I need 2 of those. It's the one with the stitching. Okay, that just is like the step down from the smaller page. And then this inside one, I'm going to cut 2 of this kind of foiled cardstock. So, you know, these both, let me see. This one came from this page, because I want to make sure if you guys are doing this, you'll know this one came from this page, and these 2 with the stitching came from the other page. Okay, actually I changed my mind. I'm not going to do another matte layer on this. I'm going to put those guys down, and then I'm going to do like a little tag. So I just cut from this outer tag, I cut this, the foil kind of paper, and then I cut from the one that goes right in there from the peachy pinky paper. And then we're going to put a little tag on that. So again, I cut with the copper paper. We'll do the same thing as we did before, and I cut the little circle that goes inside there. So I will adhere that, fold it over, you know, how we did earlier. And I'm going to attach it to this, actually. So again, we have something where you can journal if you would like to write something, maybe a date or whatever it might be. I'm going to place that there. I'm going to put this little guy together, and I'll be right back. Oh, and in the meantime, I'll glue these down. So again, you can glue them in the book, work in the book as you would like. I'm just kind of working out here. Okay, I'll glue both those down too in the meantime. As I'm waiting for that one to set up, I'm just going to put my little glue on this guy. And, you know, he can pop right in there. I think for this one, just because it's going to be a decorative element, I'd rather push it down a little bit further. So I'm going to hold it right down in here, and then I'm just going to glue it there. Okay, actually I'm going to glue this down in a way that if you wanted to slide something in there, you could. And especially if you want another picture or something in there. So I'm just going to glue this bottom part. And it'll be like a little pocket. Kind of hanging off the edge too, because this is the inner thing, so there's plenty of space over here. Okay, and then I'm just going to take these guys and put glue on the back and glue them in. Okay guys, so I popped this in here and I realized that's the last page, but you know what? It looks very lovely. Just repeating that. Kind of how we started off. So, like that, we have those pages. This feels so sturdy. We have this one with a little pocket, and then this one we need to do right now, and then our last page. Okay, so this one, it's going to be similar as far as this, starting off with these pieces that I used earlier. So I'm going to use this one, and if we want to matte and layer, we'll talk about that in just a minute. But what we're going to do is make like an accordion fold, or I don't know, that's an accordion fold. But either way, it folds back and forth. But I'm not going to do too much because, again, I don't have a lot of space in between the layers or the pages. We have that 1/8 of an inch. So this will be the base one, and then we're going to have one that comes back over this way, and then one that goes back the other direction. So we'll need one base one. For each layer that goes one way and then the other, we need 2 more. So I need 5 of these. And I'll probably cut it again. Should I cut it from the base paper? You know what? We'll cut it from the foiled card. I think that'll look lovely. I know we have the embossing. You're not going to see the embossing, but it's basically just the size of this is what I want. So I'll be right back. And again, I'll cut it the same way where this is off the edge. That way I can just trim that off as I needed. But we do need a little bit of this to hinge them together, okay? So I'll be right back. So for this one, we'll do our matte layer in just a minute. I just went right into doing this. So again, we have two that have the hinge still attached. We're gonna have this one. This is gonna be our base that's gonna be glued down. And then two others that don't have the hinge either. We just cut it off just like we did before. Like very similar. It's just gonna be a little bit different technique. So this time what we're gonna do is get this guy on here. And again, we're just basically scoring it so that they're right on top of each other. So right on top, I can turn it over and give like a little bit of a score mark to help me fold. Trying to run it right next to there. And then give yourself that little training, a little practice coming over the edge here. And if you want one to face forward, face back right now, however it is that you want to do it, we're still going to cover this anyway. So if you wanted this to just start off being like this, that's fine. Actually, maybe I'll do that. Whatever it is that you think is going to make it look nicer or more finished, do that. So there we go. And I'll turn that over. Have it nice and lined up. Put some glue on this guy. Again, right on that edge. And we're going to sandwich this basically to the base. But for now, I'm going to hold this down until it sets up, making sure that I'm still pretty even here, okay? I'll be right back in. So, this is what's going to be on the book. Got a little extra glue there. That's kind of why you always want to check, make sure you're not gluing things shut. That guy's coming this way. We're going to put one of these guys on the back of this in a minute when we're ready for that. Then this guy is going to come off of there, going this opposite direction, okay? Now, we don't want to glue that there because we already have the prettiness, so we want to glue it back here. However it is that you want to get there, again, do that. So, let's see here. When I flip back, I want it basically here. So I'm just lining it up again. Again, I am going to put one more layer here, but for now I'm just going to line it up. And, try to get as good as we can. And I'm going to give it a little bit of room still because we are going to add one more layer. And I'm going to fold that there. And again, that goes there. Okay. So it's going to attach here. So it opens up like that. And I'm going to hold that down for a little while too. I know that was a lot of flipping back and forth. Basically, I was just testing it to see if I would have enough room to make this work. So I'm going to hold this down for a minute, and then I will look and see how it looks on this other side. Ooh, that's perfect. Look at that. Lined up really nicely. So basically we need to cover up these sides. Just because the way I did it, you can do it however you like, but these basically need to pop on here. And that is basically it on this one. Then we're just going to put it down again. If you have magnetic closures or you want to close it up, you can do that. You don't have to. Or if you wanted to do like what I'm going to do is add the ribbon again, and you can definitely do that. So again, I'm popping this in here, making sure this will still close nicely. And then we can give it a good score at the end anyway. Sometimes, again, just like when you're making a pop-up, two of these things don't want to stay in the same spot at the same time, so you might even have to trim a little bit more off one of your edges. But I think this will be okay. Yep. We'll give it a good bone folding before we finish up. Okay, I'm going to stick this one on the other side. And again, because this is pattern paper and the way it is, you can't really tell where that embossing is. Okay, I'm going to hold that down. And once I think it's dry enough, I'll set it over and I'll give it a really good embossing, okay? Or not embossing, but bone folding. So we have this guy. And however you want it to open up, you want to open this way or into the book. I would say go out of the book, just because it's probably easier to do it that way. And I'm going to do like I did before, just get a length of ribbon, put a little glue on the back to hold it down, and then we'll put it in the book, okay? So I'll be right back. I'm going to do my dovetails and all that. Okay, guys, so we have this, we're ready to go. For the matte layer, what I'm going to do, and this might be a little interesting, I'm just going to use the same matte color, and I'm going to cut in with this decorative. So it's going to be beige on beige or peachy beige on peachy beige, however it is. But I'm going to use this guy. Again, and run it through, and I'll be back. So 2 of these. Okay guys, so this one's just one size up from this little guy, but if you want to make it smaller, you can definitely make it smaller. I just want that there for the accent color of it, you know, in the beginning and the background. So I'm going to adhere both of these, and then I'll be right back. Look how pretty that looks. Almost bridal. Pages in, I mean, that looks just gorgeous. And before I put this guy in, and I can do it afterwards, I'm going to cut this metallic one. Ooh, so pretty. It'll look like a mirror. I'll be right back. Guys, look at that. Gorgeous. And I'm just putting around the edges. Again, sometimes the wet glue might make the other side look a little funky, so you want to be careful with that. And then, so I'm going to wait for that to set up, and I'll just add some glue on the back just like I did before, and pop it on here. Okay guys, so we still have a bow that we can tie here, but I just want to show you. So when this one opens, it's going to open this way first, but then it's going to go open out. Now, it just depends. If you're going to do 4 or 5, you know, it's all going to change. If you want it the other way, it'll open in, you know what I'm saying? Instead of just, you know, it'll keep opening this way, out then in. But look at that, and again, you can do lots of different mats and layers in there, and then of course on the back side, you have these 2 spots. But I kept it thinner again because we have that smaller spine. Okay guys, well I would tie that a little more center, but actually that looks kind of cute on the side too. So, I mean, look at this. So let's flip through. Front page, of course, maybe put some little flowers, put some of these cute things. We have like memories, you know, the different words, I don't know if one's memories, it's friends, whatever I had mentioned at the beginning, right? So we have those words we can put on there with our little flowers, maybe a picture, and we open it up. We open this guy up, and of course we have our little book. And then on this one here, just beautiful mats. You can add some little flowers, again, more of the wording. And then this guy, nice big mat, cute little tag in the pocket here. And this one, we open it up, has that beige on beige. We just made our little folded area here. And the last page has a little tuck. Maybe I'll go ahead and cut a little tag to go in there just so people can see that. And then the back of the book. Feels super, super sturdy. If you want to cover the spine, you can put, you know, some cute stuff on it, put ribbon, maybe put some of the sentiments, like the cutout words on the side, whatever it is that you like. I usually just leave it the way it is. And there you go. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much, Tonic, for sending these. Again, enjoy your Cyber Week. Check out all the deals. I'll have the links in the description box. I'll have pictures of everything. And I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye now.
Okay guys, so to just finish this gorgeous book up, I set out some flowers that I had in my stash, and then I cut some leaves from a Tonic set from the picnic basket set, if you guys recall that one. And just out of the copper metallic paper, looks so pretty. And then I decided just to go ahead and cut a sentiment, and I just want to show you how delicate and beautiful that sentiment is. Really gorgeous. And I did measure the book. This medium-sized one is about 4.5 by 7.25, so 4.5 wide, 7.25 tall inches. And then of course the 1-inch spine, since we have the 4 pages, but it'll increase with as many pages as you want to put in, right? And yeah, so thanks for watching guys. Just love the way it came out. Bye now.